Okay, welcome. We are making shrimp etouffee today. Now, this could be chicken, pork, crayfish, fish etouffee, but I like shrimp etouffee, and the basics are exactly this. You would make it exactly the same way. Now, I've already done the roux and the stock. I have the stock made, and I did the roux. I'm going to show you what the roux looks like, what color it is. I stewed over the stove for all of 10 minutes and made it a nice peanut butter color. And I'm warming it up now because I'm going to put in the Holy Trinity, which is the Holy Trinity of Cajun and Creole cooking is onions, green peppers, and celery, with, of course, some garlic. So we're going to put in to the pot all of those ingredients into the roux, which is now warmed up. You can make this roux way ahead of time if you want. And you plop in the onion, the green pepper, and the celery. I'll wait for a little while to put in the garlic because garlic can burn. And you are just sauteing this until the ingredients soften, which is about 5 to 10 minutes. Over here, I have my rice all made, which is going to be lovely. Etouffee is pretty easy. It's delicious. It was the first, when I first went to New Orleans, I believe it was in 1992. That was the first trip I went to New Orleans, and with NEA. Yay, Bonnie, yes, yes. I was part of the Glendale delegation to the NEA convention in New Orleans, and I had my first meal there. The very first one was in I can't even remember the name of the restaurant, but it was a restaurant with sawdust on the floor and picnic tables, indoors with, checkered tablecloths. And it was supposedly one of the more famous restaurants in New Orleans. And I had shrimp etouffee, no, crayfish etouffee, and I was in love. I was in love. It was the best thing I'd had in my mouth. It was just wonderful. So,
now, Kate, should it be pretty thick when you put
yes.
It should be.
Take a look. It's really thick.
Okay, that's what mine looks like. Thank you.
Yeah, and the vegetables are going to exude some juice. That's going to be great. In the meantime, I'm going to talk a bit about the spices. The base of it, the spices that are going in, is paprika. And, and all of these ingredients are totally optional. And the amounts are just approximate. There's a little bit of red pepper, cayenne pepper. I throw in garlic powder because I can. And onion powder because I've got it. And thyme. And, oh, of course I'm going to put in herbs de Provence. And pepper. And a little bit of salt. And you mix this up. Now, the cayenne is going to give it spicy flavor. If you don't want to do it spicy, don't put very much in. If you want more, put more in. If one person wants it spicy and the other person doesn't, use hot sauce. Why not? It's all according to your taste. This kind of stuff will last in the fridge. It's one of those things you can put in your own, in a container if you want, or not. I'm still stirring that up. Now, let's talk a little bit about the shrimp. I always use frozen shrimp, mainly because getting fresh shrimp, you have to go to Chinatown. You know, those shrimp that are, running around. All of the shrimp that's in the supermarket is frozen and defrosted. It just is, unless you have access to a Chinese market. I buy the frozen shrimp from Vons or from Costco or from Trader Joe's. Defrost it in a big container of water. If you've got shells on it, I make the stock with the shells. If you don't, use vegetable stock. It's the same. Well, it's not the same, but it's good. You know what else you could use is those jars of clam sauce, a clam juice, if you want. Those taste very seafoody. So I defrosted the shrimp. I put the sauce on top of them, and they've been in the fridge for about an hour. I just took them out, and they'll be going into the sauce when I get finished making it, after it cooks down a little bit. I'm going to go back to the sauce. It's cooking up nicely. I'm going to throw in garlic. That's a little more than 4 cloves of garlic because I'm the garlic queen. And that should cook until you're beginning to smell the garlic. You throw in all of the rest of the spice mixture. A couple of bay leaves, because why not? I've got them. And a can of diced tomatoes. Here's my can of diced tomatoes. Thank you, Barry. They're still from the stash that you got me. from Costco.
You're welcome.
And it thickens up immediately. You know, it's way too thick right now. So that's why you need to add the stock. Now I'm still holding out a half a cup, but I'll probably add it in a little while. And that's the sauce. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's beautifully rich. You can probably, now this needs to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes minimum. I'm going to set the timer. 10 to 15 minutes, or it can be there a lot longer. You can make it sit there for 2 hours if you want. As it cooks, it just gets better. So I'm saying 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes minimum, but if I were having a dinner party, I would probably make it up to this point, put it on low, which is what I'm going to do right now, have it cook down, add a lot more sauce, have it cook down slightly, and then at the last minute, put in the shrimp or the crawfish or the meat. Now the meat will probably, if you're going to do meat, so let's talk about that. This is delicious with chicken, like taking a chicken breast and cutting it into 1-inch cubes or 1/2-inch cubes, something like that. Dredging it with the spice and cooking it in a little bit of olive oil or butter, taking it out, using that as the base for that sauce. You're going to make your roux, you're going to do everything from that point on, but you're using whatever's in the bottom of the pot. You can do that with pork pieces, sausage, chicken. I've only made it with pork and chicken. I've made it with sausage too, because it makes kind of a gumbo-y stew with sausage, or pieces of ham, or, turkey. I don't know. Anything you want, you can put it in this sauce. And when you taste it, you'll know why it's really good. Now, if you're doing the chicken, I would put it back into the sauce for a good, 10, 15 minutes so that it would cook all the way through. As it is, I'm just going to put the shrimp in there and cook the shrimp for maybe 5 minutes until it looks like it's done. And then it's perfectly fine. This base, this Cajun stew étouffée base, is just delicious. And it's really great over white rice. I made it the next day and put it over mashed potatoes because I could, and I like mashed potatoes. Hi, Susan.
I was here watching.
So, since it's going to be seafood, I'm going to throw in at the end some lemon and serve it with slices of lemon. I bet you, lemon would be good with chicken as well if you were making it with chicken. But I've left it out when I made a meat stew. So, and it's super easy. The real advantage to a dinner party, this being part of a dinner party, is that you make it up in advance, you heat it up, you throw in the shrimp, and you have a dinner that tastes pretty spectacular in like 5 minutes, which is always a nice thing. When your kitchen looks inviolate and you've got it all cleaned up and everything, it looks really like you're on top of everything. I like dinner party things that make me look good. So there you have it. And one of the things that is really good with it is something crunchy on top. So I have some green onions and some parsley to go on top. And so it's an easy dish. Like I said, it's going to be, well, maybe another 5 minutes, and I'll throw in the shrimp, and it looks very spectacular. So is there any questions?
Stuart says to say hi. He just got back from getting his second shot.
Good. I hope he's doing well. Bonnie?
Did you use salted or unsalted butter?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, good.
It does not matter. I have to say this, whatever is in the freezer that goes into my fridge is what I use. I know people keep telling me that unsalted butter makes everything. I don't care. Butter is just butter. And you know what else you can do? You can make this with canola oil. As long as you're browning the roux, you're set. It doesn't matter. So doesn't really matter. I have extra spices because once it's cooked down a little bit, I want to taste it to make sure that it's right and there's enough salt in it and stuff like that. I'm just not willing to do it right away. But yeah, a lot of things don't matter, Bonnie. A lot of things don't matter.
Where do you buy your herbs?
Vaughn's?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just, now I grow herbs in the back, but I don't have any green onions right now. And I don't have any parsley. My parsley, died. So I've got to get a new plant. And I order it from Vaughn's, picked it up. I picked up the parsley from Vaughn's. This is part of the green onions, scallions that they have there. I don't even do, organic anything either. I've got organic in my garden. I'll go with my garden when it's out there and doing its thing. So, yeah,
Okay.
Vaughn's, Ralph's.
Kate, you are a true Creole cook. In 1968, I was taken down to Louisiana as a bride, and my ex-husband's aunt lived on the Bayou St. John in New Orleans, and she was one of the tour guides that would take people around the city. She was like in her 70s at the time. She'd wear stockings, heels, a nice little dress, and a hat and gloves, and she could tell you who lived in any building in the old quarter, who lived in it, who bought it, how much they paid for it, why did they build it, and who did they sell it to and for how much, and go all the way up to the present. She's a magnificent historian. But what was really neat about her, and she taught me a little bit about cooking, is whatever goes together, whatever you got goes together and you cook it. She asked me if we wanted weenies and eggs for breakfast. And we said, yeah, it was weenies and eggs. And talking about things tasting better after a while, she had cafe au lait, and the excess she'd put into a jar. And the next day that got doctored up with new things. And she'd keep that jar going for months.
Oh my God. Oh, that is so great. What was her name?
Nellie Reed.
Nellie Reed.
Yeah, she was something else.
My gosh. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't know about Nellie, because I would have been totally intimidated to show you how to cook something. I just, when I went through a whole bunch of recipes when I came home, and then made it like 3 or 4 times to make it taste the way I wanted it to taste. And this is the results. But I didn't have a cook teaching me how to do it. That is so awesome.
I love New Orleans. It's a wonderful city. It's got so much tradition and it's so relaxed. She could have been stuck up, but she wasn't.
Oh, that is so awesome. I was in New Orleans 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and for a wedding. And I found out that I was catering the wedding the day before.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I will never forget that. And the beautiful pictures.
I know.
I can't believe what you did in one day.
I know. We saw, you showed us when we were in, where were we? Alberta Street. And I think you had just gotten back or something. I remember seeing your pictures, Kate.
I couldn't believe when I got there that, because I would have been worried about it. I would have wondered, I would have been planning. I just threw it together. What the hell? That was the most fun. And then the next day, I went to the World War II Museum in New Orleans. Brand new. It was extraordinary. And I went with Sean and Caroline. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. Now I'm going to throw in the shrimp. Okay. Because I can. See, here's the sauce. And I'm going to toss in the shrimp. Now, occasionally there's a recipe that says to cook the shrimp separately, and I'm sure you can. I just never have. Like saute it separately and then serve it on top. I never have. I don't care. I'm just going to I'm going to turn on the heat under it, bring it up to a boil. It will be done when the shrimp are done. And the way you tell the shrimp being done is that they don't look translucent anymore. They look solid and they're pink. And that's I didn't cook any of this for the wedding. I did a whole table of hors d'oeuvres, my usual hors d'oeuvre table for that wedding with a lot of meats and, various stuff. It was quite interesting. So
Boy, that looks good.
Yeah, it does.
it is primo. It is just really good. And if you have any left over, in the refrigerator, microwave it the next day. It's gorgeous. It's even better on the second day. That's why I'm thinking that possibly doing the sauce part in advance is probably a good thing. You know, let it cook down. It's a very good. So what would you serve this with? I'd serve this with French bread and a salad, probably. And then maybe creme brulee for dessert.
You can have that Fridays during Lent when you're suffering.
This was definitely last Friday's, you know, meatless meal. And somehow or another, it's not the spirit of Lent somehow. You know, all I have to say is that it's not like you're depriving yourself.
You know, when those priests decided not to have meat on Friday during Lent, they didn't understand women, did they?
No, well, they never have.
Yeah, that's true.
Priests understanding women? Uh-uh.
Or fish lovers.
Yeah.
See, that shrimp is pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much done. At which point you turn it off and
Invite us all over for supper.
yeah, sister's gonna be here later. Diana's here. But I'm going to serve it up. You know, my famous rice, which foolproof rice. Gosh. I can't bring it over. I'll just have to.
Is yours done, Carrie?
Just yeah, just mine is done. I didn't have the celery and the green pepper, so it's not in there. But while she's putting hers together, there's mine.
Yay.
That's a beautiful color.
Uh-huh.
So that's what it looks like.
Beautiful.
It's a lovely dish.
Oh, hello, baby.
And I would probably put a little bit of
Baby girl.
lemon on it. And there you have it. That's shrimp etouffee.
Yummy.
I
Bravo.
recommend it. If you don't like shrimp, use something else. It's a great meal, and it looks very special. And of course, it's for Lent.
Of course.
Of course, it Fridays in Lent.
Our suffering meals on Fridays and Lent.
Meals. So next week we could suffer with homemade macaroni and cheese.
Oh, that's a good suffering.
That's good suffering. I like it.
Yeah, homemade macaroni and cheese. We could really suffer this second week of Lent. It's the
Okay.
first.
Oh, and Bonnie, I think Bonnie's Jewish. Happy Purim.
Oh,
yay!
happy
I
Purim.
love Purim.
Oh,
Purim is the coolest feast.
Yes.
It's so cool
Yeah.
because it's a celebration of women.
Mhm.
Called Esther.
Yeah.
Yay, Esther, go Esther.
Well, I have to tell you, ladies, you wanted to know about raviolis in the air fryer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So I did them 2 ways. I did one after they had already been cooked to see what would happen, like if that would change anything. And then I did just the dough, dough ravioli.
Raw.
The ones where they'd already been cooked, terrible. But the dough ones were fabulous. They were crispy and all like yummy in the middle and perfect.
And what did you use for the filling?
It was the butternut squash ravioli
The
that
butternut
okay.
squash?
yeah,
And it still came out real crispy and
it was
good?
beautiful. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
Job.
I did it for 5 minutes on 400.
okay.
Thank you for that, Carrie. Maybe I'm good enough to get an air fryer. Maybe.
Carrie,
You
Carrie,
know,
did
I was
you
thinking the
do
same
like,
thing. And then Pam told me it takes up a lot of space.
if you don't have a lot of space, yeah. Carrie, did you do yours for appetizers or did you then have it like for a main dish? Did you do it more finger food?
I was playing around with it for lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
But it would, I think as an appetizer, I don't think it would be a meal, but I think
That's what I was wondering, that and like a little marinara, some kind of a dipping. That's what I thought that's how I've done it before. So
Yeah, it was
Cool.
lovely.
But I've done it with like Costco bagged of ravioli,
Right.
you just throw it in the air pot and it's fabulous.
not?
Okay,
Why not?
air fryer, yeah.
Make it, why not do it that way? Bonnie, what are you having for Purim tonight?
Well, I'm trying to decide whether or not to make a mentashen. Little Sloan and little Blake made some and they just looked beautiful, but I don't know.
That is,
And how do you go about making those, Bonnie?
Well,
If you're going to do it by hand.
yeah, it's different. Sometimes bakeries use like a bread dough. I've always used my mother's pressed sugar cookie dough and roll it out and then use a round cutter and fillings, of course, or whatever you like. The little ones use jam, of course, because that was easy and sweet, so they would really like it. But my mother always used to make a prune filling where she would cook and grind, or I don't know if she cooked them, grind prunes and mixed with orange marmalade and stuff like that. And then a very popular filling is a poppy seed filling,
yes,
but
Ooh,
apricot.
nice.
yeah.
Lots of choices.
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum.
I can't wait till we can get together and
I know.
cook and eat.
I know, we can
Is
all,
everybody all stuck yet? I am.
Yeah.
yeah,
Carol is, Bonnie is. How
everybody
about you, Joan?
is except for,
Next week I'll be done.
You got one more?
Yep.
I have one more too.
I
You
do
have
too.
one more,
I have
Pam?
one March 4th.
You have one more too?
Yep.
On your birthday?
No, March 4th.
Close.
Yep. I should be about safe by my birthday, almost.
Well, I'm looking forward to us getting together. It's gonna be awesome. And everybody around the table over here at my house, and we'll cook up a storm and it'll be good. It'll be good.
It'll
But
be
until then-
great.
Until then, I'm just trying to hold off and
Yeah.
and not get too excited, because then you get careless.
Well, this is the second year that you will be planting your garden.
Yes,
And that's okay.
yes,
We're all safe. We've all made it through this. Knock wood,
we're all
a year.
we're all fine, and
We're
and,
all fine.
and just as long as we don't try and push it.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we don't push it. We're cool with it. Yeah,
Just a little bit longer.
just a tiny bit longer. So
I still can't envision ever not using a mask when I go out. I just think that's a really smart thing to do.
Mhm.
You know, all our lives, we go downtown and everything, and the Asian women always wear masks,
That's, yep.
always.
It's true.
You
So
know?
next week I'm going to send you the recipe for mac and cheese along with a bunch of variations. There
Okay.
I have like lots of different ways to make it, but the basic is the same.
I
And-
can't wait. I love mac and cheese.
Yeah, mac and cheese is great, and I'll do it baked with a crispy top and whatever. Anyway,
Yum.
so I will see you all next week.
See you guys next week.
Everybody, take care of yourself. Happy.
Everybody take care of themselves.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're
Everyone.
primo. Mwah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for doing mac and cheese,
I
It's gonna be
agree.
great.
just like Mother's.
You
In
got
advance, huh?
you
What?
got Barry, what it is about the mac and cheese that you remember?
Well, I remember the really cheesy top. You know, the crispy cheesy top. That was my favorite part. But I don't know what else is in there. What cookbook it was.
Oh, you can turn it off.
Okay.